On the Bernina 560, there is a hand look quilt stitch. And what that means is that you're going to be stitching with clear thread in your needle and with a special stitch. It's going to drag your bobbin thread up and it's going to make it look like you've stitched it by hand. Now on the back it will show that you didn't, but it is a manipulated stitch. So first off, I do start with some clear thread. Some of your clear threads may work better than others. You're just going to have to test. The stitch is actually in the quilt menu. So touch your decorative stitch icon here. Go to 1324, the folder, and stitch number 1328. Now one thing I was noticing is when I pick this stitch, this setting for the tension must be changed. And normally it's a little higher saved, but not on this machine. So I'm going to start immediately and I'm going to almost double it. I'm going to take that way up. And as you can see by the picture, that means it's going to drag the bobbin thread up. We're making that top thread super tight. The little lock that's on the screen, that's going to indicate I can't go side to side, so it is meant to be a straight stitch, but it's how the stitch is formed. You can adjust the stitch length just a little bit and you can see how that actually works. So I'm going to zoom you in so you can see how the stitch works and then what you're going to do if you're not getting the perfect results that you're looking for. The first few stitches are probably not going to look like anything, but you do notice that the needle travels forward a couple stitches and then back a couple stitches, almost locks it into place. It's when the stitching goes backwards is when it's dragging that bobbin thread back and then locking it. So as you kind of get that little drag back, that's when you should see a little bit of color. And then there's a step between where that starts again, and that space is where the clear thread is. So it makes it look like you've done it by hand. Let me get a few more stitches going here. I think I'm kind of liking it. It doesn't always really look super smooth, but let's take a look and see what we're getting. So see that little dotted, no, you can't see that. Let me go a little further. We'll just take it out and take a look. So you can see kind of the back part of it. Let me experiment with a little longer stitch. I'm going up to about 6.2 here and see if I get a little bit more definition to this stitch. Might need to go a little tighter in the tension before I see any extra results here. If you get it too tight, you might actually break that top thread. So you do have to kind of find that happy medium. And I have found times when the thread that I put in my bobbin needs to be slightly adjusted. So meaning a different brand of thread would look a little bit better. So you can see that they look like little pink ants walking along the fabric, but that really shows what you're looking for on that stitch. Now here's what it looks like on the back. So the back is really going to prove that you did not do it by hand. And you can see by the little extra thickness and then the single line that what it's actually doing, back and forth and then a step. Back and forth a couple of times and then a step. And that is what gets you kind of that hand-looked quilt stitch.